Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here and welcome to a brand new video in SpinTires MudRunner. Now in today's video we're going to be detailing a brand new mod by Bregel. This is his new FJ40 and it is absolutely incredible. This thing has been built this thing is turned up to 11 in terms of absolutely everything that it does. The quality is top notch. The animation is top notch. The textures are awesome. Like you can see the windows are even like half rolled down. The interior has a full cage, but the cage is pushed back towards the edges so as to not intrude with the rest of the interior. The cage is flush, basically. The interior is very well detailed. You have your full factory dash, you have your factory seats, you have the door handle, you have the window winder, you have the actual hinge to open and close the door. You can see your mirrors. In the back, we have gear, we have a generator, we have tools, we have fuel, we have a spare on the back. We also have this canvas top that you can see from the inside and the outside of the vehicle looks really, really good. And every single touch on this thing is pretty well top notch. But it doesn't stop there. When you start it, you get a whole new sound that fits this thing so well. Let me start it up for you guys. It just sounds so right. That little diesel engine just humming to life. And then when you set off, man, you realize immediately as you drive along that this is a quality mod. And you know, a lot of mods don't really reach this level of quality, and when you drive along in something like this, you realize what it takes to make a quality mod. And I use a lot of mods. I mean, I play this game pretty much every day, and it starts to take a lot to impress, you know, not necessarily impress me because I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, look at me, you have to impress, blah, 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 blah. No, nothing like that. I love every mod that I pretty much use, unless it just freaking crashes the game the second I try to use it. I don't like those. But most mods, I mean, it's like no matter whether you're a veteran mod maker or somebody that's making their first mod, I'm generally going to enjoy the mods that I'm using. And it's just one of those things where you'll find sometimes these real gems, and this is a real gem of a mod. It's an absolute joy to drive. It's an absolute joy to just mess around with. And to be fair, I don't think you could ask for a better FJ40 that's more well-rounded, better animated, better quality like textures and stuff like that. It's just so good. It's got the high lift right there on the back. Everything you can see in from the exterior, you can see out from the interior. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like the cage from the outside, it looks exactly the same as it does on the inside. So does every single detail in here. And it's the continuity like that that sets this apart from a lot of other mods in this space, and frankly, a lot of other mods in general. And honestly, the FJ40 is a very special vehicle to me. I mean, a lot of people ask me why I sold my old CJ5. For example, I sold my CJ5. If you don't know, I had a CJ5. Oh gosh, what was it? A couple of years ago, I had an old CJ5. I ended up selling it to a friend of mine who ended up putting a lift on it and some bigger tires and stuff like that. And the reason why I sold that CJ5 is because I had some plans to turn it into a basic off-road rig. I was kind of debating between rock crawler and basic off-road rig, but I became more interested in other projects and some car projects and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I would rather do those than mess around with the Jeep. And so I sold the Jeep to somebody that was gonna, that was more interested in the Jeep than I was and was gonna build it. So, anyways, now that I've got that basic story out of the way for anybody that doesn't know the story, even when I had that Jeep, FJ40s have always stuck out a little bit more to me as like a special vehicle. And it's one that I would love to own at some point. It's definitely on my list of vehicles to own someday. And it's just because I think partially because I grew up with an FJ80. My parents had an FJ80 growing up, and the FJ80 was kind of the last in the line of true tough Land Cruisers. Solid axle. No bullcrap. Just it was a full-on Land Cruiser. That's what it was. And I remember reading about the FJ40s from an early age, like the FJ40s and the FJ60s, and researching like the history of the Land Cruiser as a whole, like as a line. And the FJ40 always stuck out to me as this quirky, plucky little off-roader that no matter how built or how stock it was, could always keep up with the Jeeps. And I think it was that kind of quirkiness and that specialness that kind of led me to really enjoy these little things. And I still freak out to this day. I still freak out whenever I see one on the road. Because why would you not freak out when you see one on the road? You're like, oh my God, it's an FJ40. Because you see it, and it's like, wow, that's been either preserved or it's been modified, and it's dirty and it goes off road. Regardless of whether it's a clean, preserved factory example, or or it's got dents and dirt on it, and it's got a lift and it's got big tires. Those are both acceptable ways to keep an FJ40, in my opinion. It's like, if you want to preserve it and detail it all the time, that's fine. You do that. If you want to put a lift on it and big tires and go off road and dent the thing up, cover it in mud, do it. That's what it was made for. And I think, knowing that, it really is one of the last vehicles that you can do that to, aside from Jeeps. Obviously, Jeeps are kind of excluded from this explanation because everybody knows that you can do that with a Jeep. But it's one of those last vehicles it's just as special. It's just as special whether it's been restored and preserved as it is, to be taken out in the wilderness and beat on and, thrown through, like, trails and stuff like that and just absolutely enjoyed to its fullest potential. Because guess what? That's what these were made for. Well, they were made, really for military purposes, but they were, in the long run, made for enthusiasts and made to be enjoyed and made to be used for everything from enthusiast vehicles to utility vehicles. They were really made as a utilitarian vehicle, and then the enthusiasts picked them up. But my God, what a cool little thing. And it definitely, these things hold like a special place to me. So whenever I see an FJ40 mod, I'm like, ooh, gotta try that out. But I think this one, because it's so high quality, because it's so high detail, because it's so well done, it really, really stuck out to me. And then when I put it into the game, when I installed it and popped it into the game and, drove it for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. This is special. This is a great mod. And it's not just that it's a great mod, it's a great recreation and a great representation of an amazing vehicle. And he really captures the spirit here of what my perfect FJ40 I think would look like. It's got a little bit of lift. It's got slightly bigger tires. It's got, well, not slightly, it's got bigger tires, but it's got the cage. It's got the canvas top. It's got the spare on the back. It's got the high lift. It's got pretty much everything that would be on my perfect personal FJ40. And I think that, seeing it here is like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool to see. And the thing is, I didn't even know this was coming out. It just popped up onto the Steam Workshop, and I was like, whoa, it's, what? And then that reaction of what? Like, it reiterated itself when I actually opened it up in the game and started driving it. Because, man, you can't say enough about how cool these were. These plucky little off-road machines just absolutely going out, doing their thing, and then coming back with maybe a couple broken parts, but you fix them. You fix them, and you fix them in your shed, unless you have to overnight parts from Japan. But, you could still fix them in your shed pretty much. And I think it's that magic that really kind of draws me to these. And yeah, I know that you can kind of do the same thing with a Jeep, but I love Jeeps, but they don't necessarily hold as much of a place in my heart as these do. Because these are just like, every time I see one, it's one of those vehicles. I'm sure you guys, like, each one of you, I'm sure you guys have that one vehicle that you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's special. For me, the FJ40 is one of those. And I think out of all off-roaders, the one that really kind of like, I see one and I'm like, yeah, that's special. That's the FJ40 to me. And I have different ones like that for cars, but wow, I put it in reverse. That's embarrassing. But no, I have, like, cars that are like that too. But when it comes to off-roaders, yeah, it's one of these. And man, I would love to get up, like, really, like, kind of play around with one, get up close with one, go off-roading in one. Just so cool. So cool. And I'm happy to highlight this mod, especially considering how much work, how much time, how much effort he really put into it. And man, I can't say enough good things about this mod. Everybody needs to try it out. Everybody. needs to go and download this mod. I mean, I want to see his download numbers going up because, I mean, dude, this thing 100% deserves to be on everybody's vehicle list. I mean, even if you don't like the FJ40, give this thing a try because it's such a well-made vehicle that it should be an example to people that want to make realistic, well-done, well-made mods. And honestly, like I said, I can't say enough good things about it. It's so good. So good that, you know what? I want to finish this off by doing something fun. We're going to go up one of these hills. And, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be silly levels of easy, but... Alright, we're going to go at it in high, or Tomcat gear, as people call it, and just kind of, you know, bounce our way up. But high in this thing isn't all that fast, so it's more just to get that wheel speed. There we go, there we go, there we go! Look at this thing go! Oh, man, look at this thing go! It's awesome! See what I mean about how it just kind of finds its line, and just kind of, you know... claws its way up the hill, and it just looks so good doing it, and the suspension behavior looks realistic, and it just, everything just looks right and looks well sorted out. And dude, I love this thing. It's definitely one of my favorite vehicles that I've tested in a long time, and I highly encourage everybody to go and try it out. But if you guys enjoyed this mod overview and review, don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button for more. I'll see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.